What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Coach Magali. If you're new here, in today's video we're going to talk about 7 highly effective single leg exercises. Before we begin, please do not forget to subscribe down below, leave your comments, your thoughts, any of that stuff down below, like the video. Maybe you've heard of the very famous and well-known exercises that build glutes and legs, maybe you haven't, but typically you hear squats, deadlifts, and hip thrusts, glute bridges, hip abductions, those kinds of things, but we don't really talk about single leg work. So I'm about to show you the results of not training single limb exercises. I was stubborn and I didn't want to train single arm stuff, but again, just to show you the consequences of not training one limb at a time. As you can see, my right arm is very much smaller than my left, and that is because I deadlift with a mixed grip, so one hand is facing up, the other is flipped, and it's a very popular way to deadlift. And because I never switched the grip, I didn't work specifically on my biceps individually, that imbalance got worse and worse. And it can happen to your glutes, it can happen to your legs, it can happen to literally any body part. Learn from my mistakes that you need to be training single leg to fix visual and physical imbalances. There's many benefits to training single leg workouts, but we stray away from them because they're hard. It can feel overwhelming and it can feel scary to put yourself in a position where you don't really know how to do it. Doing a squat is one thing, doing a Bulgarian split squat on the other hand is a separate different thing, which that's an exercise we will talk about. But it's important not to ignore these exercises, to really incorporate them into your routine. These single leg exercises are amazing and can produce incredible results. They just have to be done correctly, which I will show you how to do them in a bit. Always remember that, as with anything you see online, this is my way of coaching them. This is my technique, my method of teaching this to myself and to my clients. If one of these exercises doesn't work for you, or the way that I do it doesn't work for you, it is totally okay, and just know there are a million ways to do something. So play around with it, take what works, leave the rest, but I just wanted to show you guys how I personally coach these exercises. I'm going to get into some footage of me working out and showing you how I do it, and with that being said, let's get into it. So the first exercise is the split squat. So with that one, we want to have our feet split, hence the name. The amount of distance between each feet is going to depend on your height, the length of your limbs, all kinds of different things. So you got to play around with it a little bit. But essentially, you want your front foot to be directly over your face, and the back one not too close and not too far where you're almost in the split stance. So kind of in between those two. Now, a couple of things are important with the split squat. You want to make sure that the front foot always stays flat, so we don't start coming onto our toes or on our heel. Because see what just happened? I lost balance. And then the back foot stays on your toes at all times. So you never really want to come onto your flat foot back here. It's just the front one. So we're going to grab our dumbbells. So we start here. We get into that position. Our feet are flat. As we go down, we want the back knee to get as close to the ground as possible. If you can touch it, great. If not, as low as you can. And what we don't want to happen is this, where we hit it really hard and that happens. So, slow, tap the floor, and then come back up. Front foot is staying flat. Back foot, we're on our toes. And now the last thing I want you to notice with this one is my torso. I'm not staying completely upright like this. I have a little bit of a lean forward. That provides more stability, and it feels a little bit better on the glutes, in my personal opinion. So forward, but not collapsing. Knee goes down, and take your time with these so that you don't lose your balance. So do whatever you're going to do, 10 reps, 15, whatever it is. When you're ready to switch, you're going to bring the back foot, match the front, so that you know exactly where to stand. And then same thing, front foot remains flat, back knee slightly towards the ground. So next up is going to be the Bulgarian split squat. So in the name it's a split squat, but it's slightly different. It's also known as rear elevated. Doesn't matter. Bulgarian split squat. Your rear foot is elevated. So we're going to start leg, doesn't matter. Make sure you stand next to something sturdy so you can grab on if you lose balance. It could be a wall, it could be another machine, or if you're at home, whatever you have. And what you're going to do is rise your back leg up onto a bench, again a chair or a couch, whatever you have. And on the edge of the bench, you want your ankle to rest here. So we don't want the foot way too forward where we're almost on our toes, and we also don't want to be way back here. So just so that your ankle is able to hug the bench. Now the distance of the feet, again, is going to depend on the length of your legs, your height, all of that stuff. So kind of play around with it. But a good rule of thumb is head directly over the foot here. And then what you want to do from this point, again, assume that slightly lean forward position. With this one, because we are higher up, we don't have to go all the way down to touch the floor. Because you see, I would lose tension there. So we just want to get as low as we can while maintaining our chest up. And then we're going to push off this front leg, back up. You don't have to fully straighten your legs because then you'll lose your balance, but keep a soft bend and get as high as you can. So once again, we're going to drop, back knee down as low as we can, stay a little forward, foot is flat, and then right back up. When you're ready to switch, grab onto the surface if you need to, and then match the feet so that you know exactly where you're standing. And then once again, bring that other foot, make sure it's hugging the edge of the bench, front foot is flat, chest is up, slightly lean forward, and then we're going to proceed to drop that left knee down and then push off the front leg. So be careful that as you're pushing out, because these are very difficult, that you don't start to collapse forward like this. If you need to grab on while you're doing the set, that's okay. Just make sure you keep that chest tall and you don't fall forward. And so once you're ready to grab the dumbbells, you put them in your hands. And this takes you to be very slow, again, so we don't lose that balance. Find your right position. Lean forward, chest up, and we drop. Oh, these burn. And then we're going to match the feet when we're ready to switch. Same thing. Find your positioning. Chest up. Feet flat. As low as you can. The next exercise is a reverse lunge. And what makes this a lunge and not a split squat? A split squat is when we're just in the position of the split squat and we don't move the feet at all. With the lunge, it requires movement. So I'll show you what I mean. And we're going to start in the same position as the previous two exercises, feet about shoulder width apart. And what you're going to do is you're going to put one of the feet back, again into that position. We're going to go down, tap the floor if possible, and then bring the foot back to the original position. And you can either do one leg and then switch, one and one, or do one leg all the way through and then switch. I like to do one leg all the way through. So we're going to go back down, tap the floor, come back up. Same principles apply. Front foot stays flat, back foot goes on your toes, slightly lean forward, and just like that. You will notice with this one that your heart rate will go up more and you'll feel more tired, like you just ran a mile. And that's because we're also moving, we're not just going up and down. So we're going to grab our weights. Pick a weight that's usually lighter because these are more difficult. So push your back foot down, tap the floor, come back up. 1, 2. Again, as you're getting fatigued, don't let your upper body start collapsing forward. Make sure you really keep that control of the chest. And then again, match the feet. Switch. sure your front foot stays flat at all times. So the next exercise are walking lunges. Similar concept as a reverse lunge, but the difference is now we're going to move in the forward direction. So we're going to grab our left foot or the right one, whichever one you want first. You're going to take a big step forward. Then you're going to drop. But notice I'm leaning forward towards my front leg. And then I'm going to continue that pattern as I walk. We're going to come to the center and then repeat. So I'm going to show you a front view with the dumbbells. So again, choosing whatever foot you want to start with. We're going to take a big step forward, slowly so you don't lose balance. Then you're going to lean forward as your back knee drops. Front foot stays flat. And then you're going to push in a forward direction. Quickly reset. And then back with the other foot. Drop down in a forward direction, but never collapsing. Keep your chest up. Foot flat. And then again, push in the forward direction. So forward. Lean forward, reset. Forward, lean forward, reset. Take your time with these because you will lose balance and you will fall over if you don't. Next exercise is a box step up. So this box is a little bit high, so if you want to choose the lower box, that's fine. If you want to go higher, that's fine. The height is going to depend on you. The higher the box, the harder it is. But essentially, you want to find a box that you can do, get very close to it, and you're going to choose one foot to start with. So I'm going to put my foot, make sure it's centered in the box as much as possible. And you're going to lean a little bit forward. And the goal is to get the back leg to help as little as possible. So you want the front leg to do most of the work. So something like this, that's a lot of help from the back leg, and you're not giving this leg the amount of tension that it needs to, or you're not letting this leg work for it. So essentially, what we want is to come up in a smooth fashion. Now a little bit of help might happen, that's fine, but just try to minimize it. And then stand tall at the top, slowly drop. Try not to completely slam your foot, because I've been hurt that way before. It's not good. So again, lean slightly forward. Try to put most of your force on this leg. Keep your foot flat. Come up. Balance. Slow on the way down. Once again. And then when you're going to switch legs, same thing. Center of the box. Lean a little forward. Chest stays up. Don't let the remaining leg help you too much. When you're going to add weight to this one, don't grab dumbbells that are really heavy because that will force you to have to help yourself to get up, which is not the point. So choose like 5s or 10s, and if you can't, just do body weight, and that's okay too. But yeah, definitely choose a doable weight for these. So the next exercise is on a machine. It's called the leg extension. If you have one at your gym, which pretty much every gym should have one, it might look a little bit different, but the principles are the same. So there should be a way to adjust the pads and the position of the seat, and that's going to depend on your height and limb length. So you can choose to put the pad higher or lower, and then you can move the seat back and forth like that. So play around with it. When you sit into the seat, I'll show you what it should look like, because again, it's going to be different depending on the machine that you have. So you're going to get in the machine. So when you sit, the back of your knee should comfortably rest on the edge of the seat. So if I was sitting here, I'd be really far off. There's a big gap here. So make sure that the seat gives you the ability to rest on the edge of that seat. You're going to put your feet behind the pads, and you want the pad to basically hug your ankle. You don't want the pad to be on your feet. You don't want the pad to be on your shins, right where that curve of the ankle is. Another important thing with the leg extension is you want to grab onto the handles. A lot of times when people do these, they come off the bench, put a lot of strain on the knee, and at that point you're not really doing anything for the legs. So we're going to make sure our attachments are where they need to be. I'm going to grab onto the handles here, and instead of doing both feet together, I'm going to do one, and the other one just rests. Like that. Again, keeping your body stuck to the seat by pulling yourself down. Push all the way up, all the way down. And when you're ready to switch, it's a very simple process. You just do the other side. And pulling yourself into that seat as much as you can, so that again, we're not coming off the seat. The next is a single leg press. If you have a machine at your gym that has the ability to do one leg at a time and it's designed for that, do that one over this. But just in case you don't have that kind of machine, a standard leg press will work just fine. Starting weight, typically start with like half of what you do with both feet together, because again, we are doing one leg, it's going to be weaker. And then if it's too heavy, you drop a little more. If it's too light, then obviously you can add more. The leg that isn't working, go ahead and rest it wherever there's space. Usually at the floor is fine. You're going to bring your foot up, and again, position on the plate is going to depend on your the length of your leg and then what angle the machine is at. But basically a little bit higher than you normally would. So we're going to push up the weight, unlock it, and again, let that leg resting fully relax so it's out of the way. You're going to drop that one leg as low as you can, and then back up. Now the thing with single leg presses you want to be careful with is that you don't start trying to shift the other way to help push the weight up. So stay completely neutral. Imagine the other leg is helping you. Grab onto the handles and keep your foot flat at all times, never coming off the plate like that. So feet flat, as low as you can, back up, and never locking the knee fully. So always keeping a slight bend. When you're ready to switch, you can lock it to give you the ability to fully reposition yourself safely. Match the feet how you had it on the other side. Now we're going to unlock again. And same thing. Keep your feet flat, never locking the knee, grabbing onto the handles and facing forward. So that concludes the 7 single leg exercises. I hope that the demonstrations helped you to really solidify your form and give you some guidance on that. I know it can be very difficult to learn exercises, especially single leg stuff, single arm stuff, just because it is by default harder. But again, hoping that this video was helpful in that sense. So as always, remember when you're doing these exercises, please proceed with caution, because we are on one leg. The risk is a little bit higher, the difficulty is higher. So you do want to be smart about it. Obviously choose weights that are manageable and doable for you. Maybe just start with body weight. There's nothing wrong with starting slow and protecting yourself. It beats getting hurt and ruining things in the long run. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments, and if you want to see more videos like that. And I hope that this video gives you the confidence to get some practice on your single leg stuff so that you can build better glutes, build bigger legs, feel more fit, feel stronger, work on those imbalances. Don't have this happen to you on your legs. So with that being said, please again do not forget to subscribe to the channel. And with all of that being said, go get those gains, work on your single leg stuff, have fun, and I will catch you guys in the next video.